Shock advised. Stand clear. Push shock button.
Redfield, that's attack priority 1.
Hello there. This is the second part of a two-part series that I'm doing on smooth muscle physiology. So if you didn't watch the first one, you probably should go back and watch that. I'll put it right here. But if you don't really care and you only want to learn about the relaxation part, that's totally fine. You can do whatever you want. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Comment if you have any questions, and I will get around to it in 7 to 10 business years. All right, thanks again. Does your brain hurt yet? I'm almost done. I swear to God. I promise I'm almost done. Okay, so what did we learn about so far? We learned about contraction. More specifically, we talked about the IP3 DAG pathway, and we talked about the ROC pathway. Now let's talk about relaxation. So first, we're going to talk about the nitrous oxide cyclic guanine monophosphate pathway of relaxation. Okay. So nitrous oxide is produced in a couple different places in your body, and it's a gas, so it can just diffuse in here and it causes vasodilation. Now, how does that actually work? Well, nitrous oxide is going to come up here, and it's going to this nitric oxide is going to bind with an enzyme called soluble guanylyl cyclase. Now, what this soluble guanylyl cyclase, I'm just going to say SGC from now on, okay? So what this SGC does is it takes GTP, or guanine triphosphate, and it converts it into cyclic guanine monophosphate, or cGMP. Now, increased concentrations at a certain level of this cGMP are going to activate an enzyme called protein kinase G. Now, protein kinase G does a couple different things. First, this protein kinase G enzyme is going to come up here to the calcium channels, and it's going to put them into overdrive, causing all the calcium that was over here with the calmodulin. It's going to cause all of those to go back into where they came from. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to come over here to our Rho A protein that we talked about, the Rho A GTP, and it's going to inactivate it. Now, once this is inactive, it's not going to be able to undergo the ROC pathway to maintain that contraction. The other thing it's going to do is it is going to come all the way down here, and it's going to phosphorylate our MLCP, or myosin light chain phosphatase. And it's in a different spot. So what this is actually going to do is it's going to turn the myosin light chain phosphatase on so that it can boom, 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 boom. So it can start eating all of these phosphates away. And once all those phosphates are eaten away, the muscle relaxes, right? But there's one more thing that this protein kinase G is going to do. It is going to come up here. Man, my arrows got really messed up. It's going to come up here, and this is potassium channel. K. I don't want to be problematic. So we got all of this potassium outside, and all of this potassium is going to come into the cell, and it's going to hyperpolarize it so that the inside is going to be more positive than the outside. And what this is effectively going to do is it's going to close our calcium channels. Does that make sense? All right, let's draw it out. Okay. So we got our nitric oxide. It's coming into the cell. It's going to bind with this enzyme, the soluble guanylyl cyclase, or SGC. And this SGC enzyme is going to cause GTP to turn into cGMP. Now, once this concentration gets high enough, it's going to activate our protein kinase G, or PKG enzyme. And what this PKG enzyme is going to do is it's going to come over here to our calcium channels, and it is going to put them into overdrive breaking up that calmodulin so it can no longer form that activated myosin light chain complex enzyme. So the other thing it's going to do is it's going to come over here and it's going to deactivate our row A protein so that they can't bind, so it can't undergo the ROCK pathway. It's also going to come up here to the potassium channel. It's going to open it, causing potassium to come in, which is going to hyperpolarize the cell, K+, causing the cell to become hyperpolarized. It's more positive now. This is going to close off this calcium channel here so more calcium can't get in. And last but not least, it's going to come down here to our myosin light chain phosphatase enzyme, and it's going to phosphorylate it at a different spot. So it's actually going to activate it again. And once this is activated, all of these phosphates are going to get eaten. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so this is the nitric oxide cyclic guanide monophosphate pathway. I do want to mention something though. There is an enzyme that breaks down this cGMP. This is called PDE, more specifically PDE5. So this is our phosphodiesterase inhibitor, or this is our phosphodiesterase enzyme. And if if cGMP can't be created, then it can't activate this pathway. Now, if this pathway is inhibited, it's going to not, this smooth muscle is not going to be able to relax, which is going to maintain it in vasoconstriction, right? So drugs like Viagra or PDE5 inhibitors are going to stop this enzyme so that this cyclic guanide monophosphate can continue to be created so that this protein kinase G enzyme can stay active. And that is why, you know, dudes who take Viagra are going to be able to get a stiffy. Are you tired yet? Okay, I'm almost done. I promise. This is the last one that we're going to go over, and then we're going to draw all of it out. Okay, so last but not least, bringing up the rear, we're going to go over the cAMP PKA pathway. This is the cyclic adenine monophosphate protein kinase A pathway. All right. Now, I literally ran out of colors for enzymes to use, so I'm just going to label them from now on so it can make it easier, okay? All right. So, how does this pathway get activated? Well, this is usually activated by like a beta 2 agonist. So like, say, you know, you got like an asthmatic, you know, asthma causes smooth muscle constriction, right? So asthma. Well, how do we fix that? Well, we give them albuterol. Right? And the albuterol is a beta 2 agonist, so it's going to come down here. I can't really draw on the outside and have you guys see it, so let's just say that we got some albuterol here. It's going to stimulate this beta 2 receptor. Beta 2 receptor, it relays the message to the G protein receptor complex, more specifically the G8 protein. Now, this G8 protein, it's going to interact with an enzyme called adenylyl cyclase, or AC. Now, what adenylyl cyclase is going to do is it's going to take ATP and it is going to create cyclic adenine monophosphate. Now, what cyclic adenine monophosphate does in this case is it's going to come over here to this enzyme, which is protein kinase A. Now, what protein kinase A is going to do is it is going to, it's going to open up the potassium channels. So potassium is going to come in, and that is going to cause a difference in the charge. So it's going to be more positive out here than out here. And that is going to do what? Yep, you're right. It's going to close these calcium channels, right? The other thing it's going to do is it's going to come up here to the circa calcium channel. More specifically, it's going to phosphorylate phospholambin, and what this is going to do is it's going to put this pump into maximum overdrive, and that is going to cause this calcium that was out here interacting with our calmodulin. It's going to pump it rapidly back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. The other thing it's going to do is protein kinase A is going to come up here to our myosin light chain kinase, MLCK. It is going to change its shape so that it can no longer form this calmodulin myosin light chain kinase complex. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to come down here, and just like in the nitric oxide pathway, it's going to turn back on MLCP, or myosin light chain phosphatase. And once that is on, these phosphates are going to get deleted, and our smooth muscle is going to relax. Okay. All right, let's go to the next slide and we will draw it out. Okay, so we got a beta 2 agonist stimulation. It's going to stimulate this beta 2 agonist receptor. This message is going to go through until we get to the G8 subunit. Now, once this G8 subunit gets that message, it's like, oh, hey, and then it's going to activate this enzyme adenylyl cyclase. And adenylyl cyclase, it's going to take ATP, and these ATP are going to be turned into cyclic adenine monophosphate, CAMP. You like camping? I love camping. So once this is turned into CAMP, it's going to come over here and it's going to turn on this protein kinase A enzyme. That protein kinase A enzyme, it's going to come up here. It's going to open up this potassium channel. So we got potassium coming in. This potassium coming in is going to alter our polarity a little bit. So it's going to be more negative out here, more positive in here. And what that is going to do is it's going to close this calcium channel. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to come up here to the phospholambin on the circa calcium channel. And it is going to turn it into maximum overdrive. And that is going to cause our calcium to come back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum with haste. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to come over here to our myosin light chain kinase, and it's going to change the shape so that this calmodulin myosin light chain kinase enzyme complex can no longer be created. And last but not least, it's going to come down here to our myosin light chain phosphatase, MLCP. And this myosin light chain phosphatase, once it gets activated, these phosphates on our myosin heads are gonna get eaten by blue Pac-Man here. And once those phosphates are deleted from the myosin structure, it's gonna release actin, and then our smooth muscle is gonna relax. That was fun, right? Now let's do like the whole thing. Okay, I'm gonna split it up into contraction and relaxation. Actually, no, I'm just gonna do the whole freaking thing, and we're gonna have fun with it. All right, I had a brain fart on the last one, but let's talk about vasodilation now. Okay, so first let's start with nitrous oxide cGMP pathway. So this is the NOCGMP pathway. Okay, so let's say that someone takes like a nitrate or whatever, something that's going to stimulate nitrous oxide production. Nitrous oxide is a gas, so it can just diffuse right into the cell. It's going to come up here, and it's going to interact with this soluble guanylyl cyclase enzyme, or SGC. Now what this soluble guanylyl cyclase, SGC enzyme, is going to do is it's going to take GTP, and it's going to convert our GTP into cyclic guanine monophosphate. Now, when the concentration of this cyclic guanine monophosphate gets to be enough, it's going to turn on our protein kinase G enzyme. Now, what our protein kinase G enzyme is going to do, it's going to do four things. Let's draw a big old line over here. It's first going to shut off our rho kinase enzyme so that we can't keep that contraction going. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to come down here to our myosin light chain phosphatase, and it's going to phosphorylate it. And once this is phosphorylated, it's going to be able to come up here and eat these phosphates away, which is going to cause relaxation. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to stimulate the calcium channel on the sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is going to cause all this calcium that's out here bound to this calmodulin, which is doing all the things, changing the myosin light chain kinase enzyme and all that, and allowing it to be active, it's going to pump it back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. And last but not least, it's going to, there's some potassium out here. It's going to open this potassium channel so this potassium can come in. Okay. And what this is going to do is it's going to close the entrance to this calcium channel so that no more calcium can get in. Now, so we got these phosphates getting deleted over here. We got this rho kinase enzyme no longer able to be activated. We got calcium being pumped into the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and we have the entrance closed. We are closed for business. So that is the nitrous oxide cyclic guanine monophosphate pathway. Now let's talk about the other pathway. So this is the cAMP PKA pathway, the cyclic adenine monophosphate protein kinase A pathway. So let's talk about it. So we got some beta 2 stimulation, right? Beta 2 receptor is going to stimulate our G8 protein subunit of our G protein complex. Now, when this G8 protein gets a signal, it's going to interact with adenylyl cyclase, or AC. Now, what adenylyl cyclase is going to do is it's going to take our ATP and it's going to turn it into cyclic adenine monophosphate. And once this concentration of cyclic adenine monophosphate is high enough, it's going to activate our protein kinase A enzyme. Now, just like the soluble guanylyl cyclase, our protein kinase enzyme is going to open up our potassium channels. Now, once our potassium channels are open, we're slightly more negative out here, we're slightly more positive out here, and we're closed for shop. We're closed for business. Calcium's not getting in anymore. And it's going to stimulate that phospholambin on the Circo calcium channel pump, and this is going to cause it to go into maximum overdrive. So there's going to be a lot of calcium getting pumped back in here. All right, so the other thing we're going to do is we're going to come down here to our myosin light chain phosphatase enzyme, and we are going to phosphorylate it. And it's going to come up here, and this Pac-Man down here is going to start being able to eat more phosphate off so that we can relax our contraction. Now, last but not least, our protein kinase A, it's going to come up here, and it's going to block our myosin light chain kinase from becoming the calmodulin myosin light chain kinase complex, so that it can't take that ATP, phosphorylate these myosin heads. So this is the vasodilation. I know that the content of this module was probably a lot, but do you need to know this? Not all of it, unless you're studying for like the MCAT or something. And if you are, well, I hope this video is helpful. But if you're just like a dude who wants to know, how things like norepinephrine and epinephrine work, and how beta 2 stimulate, or how beta and alpha stimulation even work, well, this is how. So, like always, I appreciate you watching this video. If you learned something from it, if you wouldn't mind liking, commenting, and even subscribing if you feel like it. I don't know when the next video is going to come out, but it's probably going to be on vasopressors, because I was going to talk about vasopressors, but I realized that we need to learn about how smooth muscle actually works so that we can actually go over those in detail. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a good day. If you learned something from this module, you're welcome.